Good morning. Sturdy trucking, dirty trucking. It's 11:17 this morning. The way that guy treated me was worse than a dog. And I'm tired of being treated that way. I'm tired of these people and these guys talking to me the way they do, treating me the way the fuck they do, doing me the way they do. Because it's something secret they know about me that they doing this for, and they think they're going to continue to do. Now, you all know I got locked out the car Wednesday night, stopping at the grocery store. Honest mistake, the keys slipped off the hand, I closed the trunk, and it was locked in there. 3-day process trying to get it out. So, I didn't give you an update for when the vendor showed up. Hertz called the vendor. The place was called Detroit Locksmith Guy. And I don't know how many names these individuals have, but we contacted Detroit Locksmith Guy, who dispatched a technician from American Locksmith, who on his invoice had a third name of what the company is. But let me tell you what happened. Now, I told you Wednesday, I got locked out the car, 7:30. Hertz has a list of approved locksmith guys. They knew a locksmith needed to be called out there. And I told you, I spoke to them. They said a locksmith was coming. I hung up the phone. AAA showed up. I get back on the phone with them to find out that the lady I spoke to, they said never called the locksmith. I don't know if this is a game, he lying, or what the fuck going on here. So now they done called the locksmith back. Got Detroit Locksmith on the phone, said the guy's on his way. I'm supposed to wait to hear from the technician with an ETA. Next thing you know, while I'm waiting, I get a text message talking about they can't be there until 9 a.m. the next day. Now, I've been sitting there all the time now. My son called somebody out there. A guy charged me $50. He said he could pick the lock. Came out there. This guy was old. His hand was shaking. He couldn't pick shit. His hand, but he made a good attempt. He tried. He did. He tried for the $50 if he could have got the damn truck open. But he was going to charge $150 if he got it open. And $50 just for him coming. So he couldn't get it open, so I had to pay him $50. That was Wednesday. From 7:30 to 3:30 in the morning, I was still sitting there with their car, dealing with their car. Now, Hertz had me believing the locksmith was coming. No locksmith. Get a text message, they not coming. So now, I'm sitting in the car. I can't crank the car. The phone dying. I'm still trying to figure out how to get in this trunk. Can we get in the trunk? So when I exhausted all measures, I'm calling an Uber. I requested an Uber. The minute I requested an Uber, the little minutes I had just drained. The phone cut off while I was requesting an Uber. So, and I said I got charged for the Uber that never showed up. So now my phone dead. It's 3-something in the morning. I'm sitting in the grocery store parking lot. It's cold as hell, and I can't crank the car. So now I'm all prepared to sit there and sleep in the back seat and wait till the morning to get up to see. I don't know what to do because I can't crank the car. I didn't have the wall charger plug to charge my phone with me. And I can't crank the car to use the USB. So I was fucked. So hadn't my son just took it on a chance and just showed up there. That's the only reason I got home. That was Wednesday night. The vendor telling them he was coming. He didn't show. Get a text message. Okay, now it's Thursday, the next day, 9 a.m. They talking about he completely booked. I'm supposed to be one of your bookings for 9 a.m. He didn't show up. I call Hertz. They get the vendor back on the phone saying he's coming out. Wait, you can either contact him or wait for the mechanic to call you, the technician to call you with an ETA. Okay. I call him, ask about the ETA. Next thing you know, they say they're going to get me to the technician. I get a text message again, but they can't come out till 9 a.m. the next day, which will be Friday. So, to make a long story short, the guy asked him for credit card information on Friday. I said, no, no, we don't do credit cards. The Hertz has a vendor account that they pay you all through. And he's still yelling about credit card. But the guy's fine. He comes out there. Friday, he comes out there. I think I met him at the car around about 10:30. Took him less than 10 minutes to get in the car. Had to make a key. He opened the door, had to make a little key. He didn't even crank the car. He just like pretend he's finna crank it, like, eh. So he can trigger the alarm to cut off and pop the button. And the trunk popped open. Less than 10 minutes. We go back there. I'm looking for the keys. And sure enough, it was wrapped up in the handle of one of the bags, grocery bags. I had to unravel it out the bag. It came off my hand. I didn't even know it was sitting right there in the corner. Less than 10 minutes. So now I'm on the phone with Hertz so he can get paid. The guy charged $180 to do something in less than 10 minutes. $180. Now, all these different prices I was being told was confusing because they told me it was supposed to be $83. That was Wednesday because I specifically asked her how much is the locksmith. She said $83. He never showed. So now Friday, this guy shows up and he's quoting a price of $180, which I got to pay. They're going to pay it on my behalf, but I got to pay them for the $180. So I said, fine. The guy comes out there, get the keys out. We laying there, the keys on the trunk. I got the other key he had to make. And all this would have been prevented if they would have had a spare key to that car, which they didn't. I called Hertz, was hoping, fingers crossed, that they had a spare key. I could just come out there and get the keys out of the trunk. Didn't have a spare key to the car. Would have been prevented if I hadn't stopped at the grocery store, get last minute Thanksgiving items, and somehow lock the keys in the trunk. All that would have been prevented, the hell I went through. That technician that came out, foreign, Arabic guy, looked like Arabic. Everything was going smooth until it was payment time. For some reason, Hertz had me on the phone a lengthy time, waiting for them to answer to get this guy's payment. I mean, it was an extremely long time. Even I knew that was unacceptable. Now, I'm getting pissed. I'm like, why they got me on hold so much? This guy's getting impatient. So, to make a long story short, he starts yelling at me. I told you, $180. That's my fee. I told you. You got 2 minutes. And he started yelling at me. So I'm still on hold. I'm saying, sir, please. I have them on hold. I'm just waiting on them to answer. They got me on hold. I'm waiting on them to answer. 2 minutes. I told you, $180. Or I'm going to take the keys, lock the car up, and I'm going to leave. I said, sir, please don't do that. I got them on the phone. They just not answered yet. So what'd he do? 2 minutes has elapsed. The guy got impatient. He snatched the keys off the trunk. Popped the trunk. He threw the motherfucking keys back in the trunk. Closed the trunk up. Then took the key, locked the car, took the key that he made to get in the car, locked the car up, and drove the fuck off. And left me standing there. Humiliated, embarrassed as hell, looking like Boo-Boo the Fool. Because that grocery store is a grocery store I frequent. Them guys know me there. They were looking out the window because that car has been there on the lot for 3 days trying to get the locksmith out. They all knew that locksmith supposed to showed up Wednesday. When they saw the trunk popped, everybody was getting happy. Till it came time to get him his money. He got impatient, talking about, I got 7 other jobs. I told you. 180. You got 2 minutes. Hertz didn't answer the phone. I was still on hold. So the guy took the keys, threw them back in the motherfucking trunk, locked it up, put me back in the position that I was in, the reason why he had to come out there. That man treated me worse than a dog, and it was unacceptable. I was pissed off. I was mad. He fucking humiliated me. Them guys was standing around there in that parking lot listening to this guy yell at me about the payment. And I was getting him the payment through Hertz. They told me to call him back when he get out there, tell him the price, and we'll get him paid. We're waiting for them to answer. He was impatient. That's what he did. The way he treated me was unacceptable. Then on top of that, his name was Sada, S-A-D-A, Sada something, however you pronounce that name. That's what it came across on the phone. That's what he told Hertz. So now, he done left. And I called Hertz, told him what he did. They shocked. I done told my son what he did. They shocked. I done told some classmates I was talking to about the car. They was hoping they was finger crossing, hoping today I get the car unlocked. I done told them what he did. They shocked. He did what? He threw the keys back in the motherfucking trunk and locked the car back up and drove the fuck off. He left me standing there. That's what he did. This guy says he's with American Locksmith. But we contacted Detroit Locksmith guys, who's a company, 24-hour service that dispatches locksmiths. And he was dispatched. But he claimed he's from American Locksmith. I'm putting that out there. This guy worked at American Locksmith. But on the invoice, it had another name. Something Prime Locksmith, from what I'm being told by Hertz. So we started out talking to Detroit Locksmith guys to get dispatched with a locksmith that claims he works for American Locksmith with an invoice that says Prime Locksmith. Who the hell? How do we get two other damn vendors with one phone call? But it's all one guy. So Hertz called on my behalf Friday to find out why the vendor wasn't showing up. Called twice. They wanted some credit card on file. No, they said we're a vendor. You're our approved vendor. We have a vendor account. This guy's still yelling about a credit card. He needs a credit card on file. That's what he's saying. So Hertz have explained to them they provided a number that this guy needs to call to get his payment. But now Hertz has found out that he threw the keys back in the trunk. Hertz said this is the number he needs to call, but he needs to show back up on site, get the keys out the trunk, place the keys and the copy of the key that he made in my hand. Then he can call the number. This guy, we communicated that to the company, his company. They claimed they were telling him this, and they weren't. The woman said she's going to contact him to see if he come back out there. He's supposed to call this number to get his payment. Hertz said yes. I hung up the phone. Next thing you know, she waited about maybe, it was 30 minutes to an hour, calls me back and tells me that he's not coming. And then so I called him because I had his direct number from him contacting me, letting me know he was on the way. I said, the vendor said you're not coming back. I said, Hertz provided a number for you to call to get your payment. They have your payment ready. He said, nobody's told me about this. He said he wasn't coming. I need a credit card on file. Get somebody else. This is stuff he's saying. So I hung up, called Hertz again. Now Hertz made call twice to this company who dispatched this guy. So now I'm thinking something's wrong here. To shorten the story, something's wrong. This guy's telling me that his company has not communicated with him, that Hertz said to call this number to get your payment, but you need to show back up on site and get the keys out the trunk. It's unacceptable what you did. Should have never threw the keys back in the damn trunk. Cost me more time. That's what we've been going through this since 10:30 that morning. It was around about 10:30 I got there. Less than 10 minutes, got the keys out the trunk. Then I had to wait till later that afternoon to get him to come back. I had to get Hertz on the phone and give them that guy's phone number to explain to that guy about their payment. And when he finally understood, now he's coming back. And I asked him, are you sure? I said, I would like you to stay on the phone when I contact this guy because the miscommunication and the different communication seems to start when I hang up the phone and then talk to them directly, or they sending messages to me after the fact, after they done talked to you, and it'd be a different message telling me they ain't coming. So she was on the phone. I called this guy. He said he'd be there in 15 minutes. I said, okay. So he hung up. I'm on the phone still with her. She's explaining. I explained everything to him. He understands it. I said, I done told him all that. She said, I figured that. I said, I explained to him the same way you explained to him. It was a vendor payment. He was going to get paid. He knew all this. He told me the company wasn't telling him any of this. So the company lied about him coming out there. He lied about them. I think he was lying the whole time about them telling him about the payment. I said, this guy must be a total idiot that you don't understand that they have a vendor's account. You are an approved vendor. He was an independent locksmith that got dispatched from one of Hertz approved vendors that treated me so horrible. That day, Friday, from Wednesday to Friday, it shouldn't have took that long. He was supposed to be, even the grocery store When I got the keys out and they seen I was in the car, cranked the car, warming it up, he said, that guy should have been here Wednesday. I said, yeah, I know. He told us he was coming. Then they turned around, sent him a text saying he wasn't. Then they turned around and did it again Thursday. Then finally he showed up and then this happened. So he threw the keys back in the trunk. We had to call him, damn near beg him to get him back out there. Because he was telling me to get somebody else to come out there. I said, you already made a key to the car. You have the key to the car. You need to come back out and get the keys out the car and call that number to get your money for your payment. You already work with the car. Horrible experience. This is a vendor Hertz hooked me up with. It was he looked like he was Arabic, don't know his nationality. Everything was smooth when he first got there. Until it came payment time. And that's not my fault Hertz didn't answer. And Hertz had me on hold so long that there was a guy in the parking lot. He seen what happened. Everybody in the parking lot standing around looking at this guy yell at me, going off on me because of his payment. And they watched him throw the keys back in the trunk, lock it up, and left me standing there looking fucking stupid, embarrassed, humiliated on a grocery store lot that I fucking frequent. Unacceptable. And I'm pissed off about it. I done complained all over the company about that shit. That's a vendor they should never use again. He should have never threw the keys in the trunk. Should have just waited till they answered the phone. He would have had his payment. I'd have left that morning. Everything would have been fine. But he was impatient. He didn't want to wait. But that's what everybody else make me do. Wait. We waited 3 days for that guy to get out there to do that. Humiliated me in the fucking parking lot. And that will never happen again. You will never do that motherfucking shit to me again. I'm tired of being treated that way. That motherfucker treated me less than a motherfucking goddamn dog. And Hurt sent them out there. 3 days I waited for that guy. I waited Wednesday night. I waited Thursday. Then he shows up Friday. All that waiting I was due for him to come out there. And that motherfucker treated me like a dog. And on top of that, charged $180 to do a job that was less than 10 fucking minutes. So I called Hertz, filed a complaint. Told them they need to complain about that vendor. File a complaint over there. Unacceptable what he did. I won't tolerate it anymore. I'm tired of these motherfuckers treating me the way they treat me because of this secret shit you got going on around here that I don't fucking know about, but you seem to think you supposed to walk up to me doing anything and talking to me anyway, treat me any kind of goddamn way. That fucking shit is done. You ain't gonna treat me like a dog no motherfucking more.